Dang, you need to hit them quick. Well, hello again folks, hope you're all still fitting well, and welcome to another video, hey. And of course, for those of you who've got a short attention span and just want to get to the shooting, fast forward to the 3:37 mark. I've shot in this farm on and off for quite a few years, and usually every year without fail the farmer gives me a ring and asks me if I could come down and help protect the crops. And this year was no different. At this stage though, most of the fields were cut. I think there was just one field left standing, which must have been spring barley, as it seemed to be a couple of weeks behind the rest of it. I was hoping to use the air rifle, but as you can hear, it was so windy a day, using the air rifle would have just frustrated the life out of me, so I brought the shotgun instead. I set up in this field as the pigeons seemed to like gathering up in distant trees on the neighbour's ground, then cutting across this field to wherever they want to feed, so they should be able to see my decoys at some point. I'm using 10 wood pigeon decoys. They're a full-bodied, fully flocked decoy that I touched up with some paint some years ago. The wind was coming from behind the hide, diagonally from right to left, and I suspect that the wood pigeons would probably come either directly up the field towards the hide or diagonally from left to right into the decoys. So I set them out from about 10 to 25 yards away with a hole, an opening for the incoming birds to land in directly in front of the hide, which I later realised was a mistake. I was fortunate enough to actually find a couple of dead pigeons already lying in the field. I'd say somebody probably was shooting the field earlier in the day and either missed the couple of birds or left them behind them. Now, you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, so I took one of the birds and mounted it on a flapper that I brought with me, then set it up roughly pointing into the wind just behind the front of the decoy pattern. Right, with that all done, time to get myself into the hide, get the gun loaded up and get ready for some action. The shotgun that I'm using is a 12 gauge Lanber with a 28-inch multi-choke barrel. I'm also using a set of AimCam Pro2i shooting glasses. I'm actually filming this wee segment with it, not very professionally I'm afraid. And I'm using a set of Decibullz mouldable earplugs, which the wife thankfully gave me a hand moulding. Thanks, pet. Oh, and the cartridges are a 32 gram number 6 fibre wad. Took feathers out of it. Dang, you need to hit them quick. Ah, net. So besides that nice double, it was obvious I was having problems. The birds were coming up the field directly towards the hide before turning into the decoys, and as soon as I would rise out of the hide for a shot, they would see me and flare off, and in that wind they weren't half shifting hay. Now, if I've learnt anything over the last 20 years, not only with the air rifle but the shotgun, if you get the decoys right, it makes the shooting easy. So I took the birds I had shot and moved the whole decoy pattern at least 15 yards to my right hand side. My theory was to stay low and hidden in the hide until the birds had almost flew by me towards the decoys, then shoot them almost from behind before they would see me and flare off. Well, that was the theory. Let's see how well it actually works in practice. Oh, I hit him. Should have had it with the first one. Oh, I just moved to the wrong side. Getting too adventurous. It doesn't really show that well in the AimCam, but there's quite a few birds flying about. But they're keeping their distance, well above my skill level anyhow. So I decided to go out and have a bit of a tidy up, as there's probably something lying on its back, which could be putting the other birds off, as they're quite used to getting shot at round here. Right, let's see if that helps liven things up again. That took that full face and he's still going. below him. Dang, it's windy. Glad I left the air rifle at home this time. That was terrible shooting. There's a wee of ferals flying about, but I usually leave them alone, just in case somebody owns them. I should have had that. Dang. Time for another wee tidy up. Now, nobody likes wounding birds, but if you do enough shooting, it's going to happen to you sooner or later. The only thing you can do is get a hold of them as quickly as possible. Fold their wings in tight to their body so they can't flap. Then with your other hand, turn its head about 3/4 of a turn, and then with a quick snap of the wrist, turn it the rest of the way, and it should dispatch it cleanly. But don't pull its head, otherwise it'll come clean off in your hand. Well, with that unpleasant but necessary task taken care of, I decided to bring a few birds in, as I thought the decoy pattern was getting a wee bit too busy. Scared the dung out of that pheasant wherever he came from. Well, the pigeons seem to have lost interest in it. Looks like the weather's going to turn for the worst, so it might be a good idea for me to pack up and head home. Well folks, that's the end of another one. Hope you enjoyed it. Turned out not too bad a bag. Even for the fact that I was having difficulties at the start, I managed to wrangle it a wee bit to make the shooting much easier. I did manage to get an evening with the air rifle about a week after this on the same field, but only got 6 birds. They just wouldn't decoy. But you can see that footage on my other channel, Hunter's Vermin, in a wee mashup video. Anyway folks, take care and look after yourselves, hey.